So now it's time for rapid fire.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Gilbert, surprise, surprise, or not a surprise at all? DeAndre Hopkins released by the Arizona Cardinals. I think people thought he was going to be traded, but he was released on Friday. Thoughts on his release and what do you think are the best landing spots for him?
Yeah, I'm not too surprised, and I know the GM there for Arizona kept saying he's not going anywhere, and it was kind of more like a bluff. They couldn't trade him because they couldn't get the offer they wanted. By the way, this is kind of the second time that the team that has Hopkins couldn't get a big package. Remember that everybody gave Houston crap for not getting a first round pick. Now the Cardinals flat out just released them. Like we all know what the Cardinals are trying to do. They're trying to fix the salary cap. They're trying to think about 2024. Get Houston's pick and their pick and make it 1 and 2, draft Caleb Williams or Drake May, and they have chaos in the NFL. Whatever. DeAndre Hopkins is not in the plans for the Cardinals, so I am surprised they couldn't get anything for the guy, but I knew he wasn't going to be on the roster. I didn't buy this thing, him being there. And then it's got to be between the Bills or the Chiefs. But then again, as you get reminded from OBJ, yeah, you want to win, but money talks more. So we'll see what happens there.
Random NFL executive came out and said that he doesn't think DeAndre Hopkins, that a lot around the league don't think that DeAndre Hopkins can get separation anymore. So if I was DeAndre, I would go to Buffalo. Why Buffalo, Fernando? Because in Buffalo, you're not going to be the number one receiver. You're going to get Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. You're going to have other guys that can get, and now Dalton Kincaid. Now you can get yourself open. You can do different things. In Kansas City, I know Travis Kelce's there, and I know they have running backs, but they don't have that many receivers. If I was him, I would go to Buffalo. I think Buffalo has the best chance to sign him. Gilbert, Raiders coach Josh McDaniels announced that Jimmy Garoppolo had foot surgery in March. Obviously, now makes sense of why his introductory press conference was moved. He failed his physical and had foot surgery and worked his deal with the Raiders. How many games will Jimmy G start for the silver and black? And do you think this kind of opens the door now for Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. to potentially suit up for the Raiders?
I know we've been joking about Brady taking over and pulling an MJ, but he owns the Raiders. He has to be the Raiders or nothing. So I see something there because he played so well last year, but like you got to feel for Raider fans. Victor, sorry, man. It tends to happen all the time. I know, Jimmy G's not a big prize like Antonio Brown and the chaos that he had, and it just something always goes wrong, but he is your starting quarterback. And that's why I was always hesitant. That's it. That's what you're going for, Jimmy G, a guy who's always injury prone. Why aren't you going for quarterbacks? And then kind of just starting to feel like, okay, if Jimmy G's hurt, you're not going to turn to Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell. You're going to tank for Caleb Williams and Drake May. So overall, bad luck for the Raiders. And why are you putting all your chips? I know Josh McDaniels knows Jimmy G, but he's injury prone. The guy can't stay healthy. And I knew something was fishy when he didn't show up to his press conference and they try to say nothing to see here. Yeah, right. Here we are a couple months later.
Gilbert, are you officially saying that the Las Vegas Raiders have been eliminated from the playoffs?
Oh, for sure. They're not going to make the playoffs.
Okay, playoffs. All right, I'm with you, Gilbert. Obviously something was fishy when he didn't. Like they even had the media already gathered there, and they were like, "Oh, hey, we're not doing it." Like the media was only there for Jimmy G's press conference, and then we're told, "Oh yeah, nothing to see here." Like what? So yeah, it's a little fishy. How many games will he play? I'd be like, if he doesn't play any, wow.
But I wouldn't be surprised they waive him or they cut him.
I think
at least they protected themselves with the contract. Like, hey, dude, you can't pass the physical. Let's at least let's do this.
This is just going to heat up the Devontae Adams pissed offness. And my prediction that he will not suit up for the Raiders this year. He'll be in a different uniform. But who knows? I mean, hey, I'm just saying.
Nothing brewing with the Raiders.
Can you imagine if he looks over and he's like, Brian Hoyer, what? Like, he made a Gilberto's top 20 or 22
21, yeah.
Gilbert, the New Orleans Saints are bringing in former Raiders coach John Gruden to help install their offense. Do you think Gruden coaches again at any level?
I think so. Maybe you need more time. You kind of, you forgive and you forget. And it kind of feels like, John Gruden is in jail right now, paying doing his sentence. And yeah, he was wrong in what he said, but I think, yeah, I think with more time, eventually, like this is like the starting point, right? Like you kind of get your name in the media, you're helping out people, you still have a good relationship with Derek Carr. So I don't know about this year, but I think he will come back. I don't think it'll be a head coaching job. It won't be an OC job. The old guys, consulting jobs are always good for them.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe, sometimes it's easier. It's cheap. Like you make more money being a freelance reporter, like doing stuff like that. Maybe this is better for him being a consultant, going around helping install offenses. I mean, maybe I think the best he could probably do is a quarterback coach, maybe offensive coordinator in a couple of years if he really wants to get back into coaching. But I don't think I think John Gruden's just going to do this. He's going to be a consultant, help different people in different places, and that's it. I don't see him moving.
I think he does the face again. He's going to do this.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
That's pretty good,
man. Let me tell you something. YouTube announced that they will allow simultaneous streams for in-home Sunday NFL Ticket. Did they have to do this as a contention for Sunday Ticket, or because of the complaints that they've gotten so far because of the outages, Gilbert?
Yeah, like it's kind of like we're in 2023, like
consolation price. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Oh, I like this idea because I guess back in the day when you had DirecTV, you don't have like five. I mean, some people do 5 boxes or whatever, the whole controllers in your house, but you could do that, right? And it'll be you could do whatever you want because those are installed in your house. Now with the whole DirecTV streaming, like you have your laptop, you have your iPad, you have 2 TVs. You need to have at least 4 or 5 streaming platforms, and they had it to 3. That really was bothering me. So for them to do that and hear the outcries, like, "Hey, we're charging you an arm and a leg," to kind of accommodate that, and you still get the 3 streams on the go. I think that was pretty good on their part.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I think they're trying to get ahead of the potential problems that they're going to face pretty soon. So
there's going to be an outage.
It's going to be a crap show. Yeah, no, definitely 100%. Obviously this week Gilbert wrote a story for SI.com ranking all 32 backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Some of my takeaways from the ranking is the Manhattan MILF Hunter is all the way down at 22. Zach Wilson. This is Brian Hoyer's ahead of him at 21. But no, you know what? Honestly, what kind of surprised me about Gilbert's list was, where is it? Right here. That he has Gardner Minshew as number 3 when Gardner Minshew could be a starter, Gilbert, and Anthony Richardson could be on the bench. So is that interchangeable, or what are you guaranteeing right now on May 31st that the starter will be Anthony Richardson?
No, that's a good point there. That was a tricky spot for me to try to figure out who's like, it's like the Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask in Tampa Bay. Who's going to be the starter there? I think the way I did it in my head is like, who's going to start the most game by the end of the year? And you covered Justin Herbert and Tyrod Taylor. They're all going to scream for the new rookie. I think he'll come in and play by October. And at the end of the year, it's like he was a starter. That's why the way I posted.
Holy crap. I could not have guessed who the backups were for the Packers or for the Cardinals. Yeah. And by the way, we do have some breaking news right now on Compas on the Beat. Gilbert, unfortunately, has had the key to the city in North Dakota taken away, and he has had governorship taken away. Everything that he knew about North Dakota is now gone. He put Easton Stick at 29, so the North Dakota is not happy with him. He is no longer the mayor of North Dakota. He's no longer had the key to the city. Unfortunately, Gilbert, anything you want to say to North Dakota?
Yeah, this one hurt because I love going on North Dakota radio. Shout out to the Bisons there. And
every year, Gilbert, since Easton Stick has been on the Chargers, Gilbert has been on the radio show 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah, and they treat me well, man. Like they do cut up some of my interviews, and like this when I was younger in my beat days, I'm like, oh, cool. It made me feel like I'm a special big time expert here. So it hurt me, but when you really look at it, Easton Stick, like the reason the biggest thing on this ranking scale was experience. Can you be reliable? When you have one career passing attempt in the last 4 years, like if Easton Stick goes into the game, you are going to feel so uneasy. Dan Dale could attest to this. He doesn't want to think about that probably. But one career pass, no experience at all, that's the worst place you could be in. But then when you have guys like Clayton Tune and Sean Clifford, at least he's not last. And then I feel a little harsh for CJ Beathard, actually, for putting him last.
Time before.
Yeah, but when he played for the 49ers, I thought he was really terrible, and I keep remembering that in my head. But at least he has experience. That kind of makes you feel better, but he was really bad. So there's something about the unknown that you feel better about too. But, I'm sorry, Easton Stick.
Gilbert, NFL owners last week passed a rule that the ball at the 25-yard line, or the ball will be placed at the 25-yard line following a fair catch made before the return team's 25-yard line on a kickoff. Will this help the concussions, or is this just more to help with NFL offenses?
Yeah, it's definitely more to help out NFL offenses. They do not care about concussions. They don't even. I'm not even sure they care about player safety with all these dumb Thursday night flexes and stuff like that. But it seems like they want to just get rid of special teams. Like they keep making new rules about the kickoff and returning it, and now this is the latest thing. And it turns out that a lot of people were trying to prevent this from happening. They ignored all that. Like so many, like I think it was like one coordinator or special teams coach from every team, and then one special teams contributor from every team was trying to do a petition. Hey, don't do this, and they just totally ignore these guys. And it takes away jobs, it takes away plays, and then the stats show like it doesn't really make a difference when it comes to concussions. So why are you getting rid of this? So I think at some point they got to figure out: do you want special teams or not? Can we kind of figure it out here, because you can't keep neglecting the position, and then all you want is 80,000 points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I don't think fans are going to be, or I think the players, I think the coaches are really angry about this. They're like, well, like even and there you go, you can ding me. Pat McAfee was like crapping all over really? The NFL for this. They're like, what the hell is this? Like, you're basically taking away special teams. And it was funny because obviously, like I said, I listened to JB. JB feels like at one point they're just going to take special teams away and they're just going to put the ball at the like you're going to start off the game from the 25-yard line and move forward, which obviously, like, kickers, punters, they're important to this too. Returners, like the Chargers drafted a returner in the 4th round, and now you're basically taking the ball out of his hands in a sense. But
imagine what they're thinking after, like, we just drafted somebody for this.
Yeah, you're not kidding. But it's funny. Pac-Man Jones on Pat McAfee said, "Man, he's like, when I was a returner, I would always take that B out of the end zone." He's like, Coach would be, I'd take a knee. He's like, take this, and he's like, I grab my crotch and I take off and go running. I started dying of laughter. I'm like,
I can totally see that for Pac-Man.
Pac-Man is hilarious. Yeah, so he's actually been a really good addition to their show. So I love listening to Pac-Man.
And he was a star. He was an amazing athlete back in the day too.
Dude, do you remember he wrestled at TNA when he got suspended for a year from he didn't wrestle at all, but he was a tag team championships with R-Truth. Definitely some funny stuff there. Gilbert, give me your top 5 power rankings in the phase 2 of the NFL offseason. Give me your 5 teams. Who are they?
Yeah, sorry, give me a second. Here it is. I wrote it down. And it's very AFC heavy. But obviously, my number 1 here is defending champions. You got to prove them. You got to prove them wrong. Whatever. I'm trying to say something. You got to beat them. There you go. 7 AFC West titles. I'm echoing here. So Chiefs. Number 2, Eagles. I know Eagles lost a lot of free agency, but I really like the draft. They are the number 1 team in the NFC. And then the 3, I hate this echo, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Number 4, I'm actually surprised that I have the Bills this high, but I think they might get DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be a game changer. Dalton Kincaid was a nice addition. So the Bills 4. And then people forget all of a sudden, the darlings, Jaguars, number 5. I think they'll keep rising and improve.
I was similar to yours, but I went Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, San Francisco 49ers, and Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens.
I like the Ravens.
If Lamar can kind of get his crap together in a sense of like, now you have the contract. Can you put the touch on it that it needs to, especially with some of the receivers that you've gone? I'm not even talking about OBJ. I'm talking about Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. He has Mark Andrews still. I think the Ravens can be good. I have a little bit of question marks on their defense just because they've lost some pieces. But I like in San Francisco, they've been right there the last 4 or 5 years. So I can't take them out of there. And obviously, we all know the Eagles.
Real quick, Fernando, I feel much better about I know I was giving crap to the 49ers. It's going to be a good show for Alonso, but I won the giveaway. I feel better about the 49ers now the reports are saying that Brock Purdy has a strong chance to be ready for week 1. If not week 1, maybe week 3 or week 4. It's not going to be half the year. So that's good for the 49ers.
Isn't it funny how all of a sudden Brock Purdy is now the answer and the savior to the 49ers? Like, this is crazy the way.
Or Trey Lance. And what happened to the Sam Darnold hype? Nobody cares anymore.
I know everything's shifted. Everything is shifted. It's crazy. Gilbert, what is one NFL storyline that will happen between now and the start of the NFL season that'll have everybody talking?
Yeah, I think I had here one that's kind of a sneaky one because it's about to be June 1st. Like why is Ryan Tannehill still on the Titans roster? Like, you drafted Will Levis, you got Malik Willis. Actually, it's kind of similar, right? Will Levis, Malik Willis. And then you got to know what these guys are going to do, because they're going to stink. Even if Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry are healthy, they're still going to stink. So you're going to have to move on. You got to figure out these young guys are ready to go, because as I mentioned 3 times already or twice, Caleb Williams, Drake May. So you got to see what you have in Will Levis or even Malik Willis. So why is Tannehill on this roster? I think he might get traded to the Falcons. I think after a while, it's like Desmond Ridder, really go back with Arthur Smith. And then I had a little extra. I think, Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon will find new homes too, I feel like, after June 1st or whatever, the couple of days coming up.
I think some people are thinking, what the hell is Malik Willis still doing on this roster on the Tennessee Titans? Man, the Tennessee Titans
on my list too, by the way, my rankings.
They almost beat Kansas City at the end of that game last year, and Malik just couldn't get a damn pass completed. It was incredible. I'd never seen the deer in the headlights like that guy, but whatever. I mean, we'll see what happens with him. I'm going DeAndre Hopkins. I think whatever trade happens wherever team he goes to, that's the team that everybody's going to be talking about from now until the start of the season, about being hot, about this, about that. No matter what, I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to basically dominate everything moving forward.
He's going to drag it out, huh?
Yeah, 100%. I think they will. Gilbert, obviously, Memorial Day weekend is a benchmark for Major League Baseball. The season's a third of the way over. Teams can start having an understanding of what kind of squad they have. There's some surprise teams like the Rangers, the Rays, and the Twins. But what is your World Series prediction? And am I going to stick with mine? Go ahead, Gilbert. You start.
I honestly don't even know what my first prediction was.
I don't think you gave one. Okay, it was cool. Only. Oh, I thought it was only Victor Producer and I that did it. But
I don't remember. Then it makes sense too. And I've only watched 2 baseball games this year that I attended them in person. Dodgers, Padres in San Diego, Angels. I don't even know who they play. Blue Jays in Anaheim. So those are the only games I watch. And I'll just tell you a funny TikTok that I watch. So I'm gonna pick Dodgers and the Astros because they're always good teams, right? That's a good reason. And then I saw a TikTok where there was 2 Astro fans at Disneyland, and there was people banging the drums, and he goes fastball. And that made me laugh.
Oh my god!
Banging the trash can. There you go.
All right, I'm just gonna continue with mine. I said Padres, Yankees. I know they're 2 of the bottom. They're in the bottom of their almost at the bottom of their division.
Can you even watch Padres games right now? I saw that story, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be on MLB Network. Well, Little Daniel was able to find a way for me to watch them, so I'm good. But yeah, I saw the Bally Sports thing that the Padres aren't going to be carried on there anymore. But I'm just going to continue with my pick. I think the Washington Nationals and other teams have kind of picked it up at this point, and they ended up making a push the second half of the season as long as they can get in. So we'll see if the Padres can get hot enough. But I'll say Padres, Yankees still, and I'll continue with
it's a long season.
It's a very long season.